I was like, oh my God, the tension. Besties, welcome back. How are you guys doing? I've missed you all. I am doing great. The weather has been hot, but it's been nice. I've been going on more runs. I've been in a better mood lately. It's just, overall, it's great. I've also gotten through a lot of my TBR, and that to me is just so exciting because, I don't know, it feels good to just be able to get through the books I have on my shelf. It's so nice. And as you can see, I chopped off my hair. I love it. It is so fresh looking and healthy looking. I used to have it down to here, so I chopped off a good couple of inches off of my hair. And I don't know, it's so much easier to style. It's so much easier to wash. I love it. Anyways, I know it has been a while since I did a reading wrap up. I think my last reading wrap up was in April, and I've read quite a bit of books since then. So we are going to do a 3-month reading wrap up. So we are going to be wrapping up May, June, and we're going to be wrapping up July books and talking about them a little bit. There are some books I'm probably just going to skim over and give you a little bit on it. Some of them I wasn't a huge fan of. We'll just wrap those up pretty quick. I have read 11 books in 3 months. I'm happy with how many I've gotten so far. We are going to do them by month. So in the month of May, I read 4 books. May was an ARC month. I did almost all ARC reads except one book, and I am really happy that I kind of got that month out of the way because these past June and July, I got through so much of my TBR, and I'm legit so happy. In May, I read Fair Game. This is a hockey romance. I loved this one. It was a really good ARC read. I think this book would be really good for people who want to start their reading journey. This wasn't insanely spicy. It had a few spicy scenes in it. The spice wasn't super in depth. I feel like it was kind of borderlining that YA. Wasn't quite YA, where it just fades black. This was you had descriptions, but it didn't really go into crazy detail like a lot of dark romance typically does. It's a hockey romance about a PR assistant and a hockey player. They both actually grew up together, and both of their dads were actually hockey professionals. I loved their dynamic. Their banter was really cute. I'm pretty sure I gave this book 4 stars. It was a really cute read. The next one is Play Dirty, and this one was an ARC read for me. I almost DNF this book. I think I did DNF it for a little bit because it was just super, super dark. And then I decided, no, let me go ahead and give it one more chance. And then I'm really glad that I did because it kind of became a more of a suspenseful dark romance. And I really enjoy a suspense in my romance books. I have really gotten into that genre, so I liked that. I'm not gonna rate it anything crazy. I think I gave it a 2.5, maybe 3 stars. And then I read Distorted. This is also an ARC read. This is also an MM romance. This one was also super dark, and I almost DNF'd it as well just because of how dark it was. Everything in those 2 books, in Play Dirty and then in Distorted, they were just super forceful, and I didn't like that aspect of it. It just felt very pushed and forced, and I wasn't into it. Closer towards the end of the book had some suspense to it, and that was really nice. But I think I kind of ranked it in a similar aspect to Play Dirty, where it was just, I don't know, it was a 2.5, maybe 3 stars. Then we got to The Deal, and I loved this book. I really, really loved it. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a sucker for hockey romance books. They are my favorite. It is one of the series, one of the genres, the tropes that got me into reading, and they will forever have a huge piece, not a sliver, but a huge piece of my heart when it comes to reading. I loved this one. Garrett and Hannah are so cute. Also, that is why I got this haircut. Like, I feel like it's channeling my inner Hannah Wellesley. And yes, after reading this, I did watch the show, the Off Campus series, and I loved it. I cannot wait for season 2. Dean and Allie, ooh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Honestly, Logan, I am so excited for Logan's season. Logan's my favorite. I love him so much. This is kind of going off topic, but I did not know that Tucker in the books is a like tall, like ginger. And in the show, he is not a tall ginger. Like he's completely different. I also realized that they changed a lot of it, which I didn't mind. They changed a lot between the book and the TV show. And you know what? I didn't mind it. It was really good. Like, I liked the differences. I thought it was really well thought out between the two, and yet it still felt like it was the book. But I really love the deal. I really love the show, and we're gonna move on and talk about my June reads. June was a little sad, okay? June, I didn't finish a lot of books in June. I read 2 books in June, okay? It was a busy month. In June, I read Kiss the Villain, and I did this because I bought Hunt the Villain. I have it back here with me, but I bought Hunt the Villain and thinking for some reason that it was book 1. It's book 2. So I bought the audiobook of Kiss the Villain, and I really loved this one. Again, an MM romance. And it was just, mwah. It's a student ex-professor, and the student, like him trying to grapple with his masculinity and understanding that being bi or being gay is perfectly okay. Like, grappling with that and watching him develop and go through that, I really enjoyed that part of it. I also enjoyed the professor's aspect, him trying to help him through the entire process of trying to mentally process his masculinity and going through what he's feeling and why he's feeling this type of way. Loved that. It was super spicy, and I loved this one, and I'm really excited. I have book 2. I have Hunt the Villain, and I bought the audio, and I'm so excited because Teddy Hamilton is one of the main narrators for the characters. Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure it's a full cast. And then we've got King of Greed. I loved this one. My dog is laying on the floor over there. This is like so off topic, but he is a husky Australian Shepherd mix, and he talks and he like dreams a lot. And when he dreams, he barks and boofs, and he also growls. So that spooked me. It's just so weird to hear him growl sometimes, and it's just, he's happily asleep. It's really cute, but it's also alarming sometimes. King of Greed. I loved this one. It was so different. I did this one on audio. I should get really back into immersive reading my books because I have the physical copy and yet I'm buying the audiobook, so I should really immersive read this. But I loved this. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so different than any of the books that I've read in romance. They go from being married to not being married anymore because she's completely unhappy. He is clearly unhappy, and she decides to call it off. And then Alessandra like wants to find herself. She wants to find her spark again. And Dominic has that epiphany and it's the cliche epiphany of you don't know what you have until you've lost it. They eventually get back together and they love each other and find themselves again. But I think it's beautiful to find yourself first and then build yourselves together. I haven't read that in a book yet, and I loved that aspect of this. This was a 5-star read for me. This is probably going to be one of my favorite books within this series. Now, getting into my July reads last month, okay? I'm so proud of myself. I read 5 books. I know that's not a lot compared to like larger creators and things like that, but it is a lot for me. And not only am I proud of myself, but I finished the Legacy of God series. It has taken me forever to finish this series. I read God of Malice. Oh gosh, I think I read God of Malice at the beginning of last year. It's taken me a year to get through this series, you guys. I read God of Malice and God of Pain pretty closely behind each other. And then this year I've read 4 books out of the series. I read God of Wrath in April. Comparing the two, I think I like the back half better. I know that's crazy to say, but let's go through it. Starting off, Landon. I did not think that I was going to like his book because I didn't like his characters in book 1, 2, and 3. I hated him through God of Malice, Pain, and Wrath. But once I got to his book, I loved the development. I loved his character in this. I loved how he was willing to completely change just for her. Like, this man is completely unashamed of being himself, but for her, it's like he crumbles. And I love that. I feel like throughout the entire series, once you're halfway through the series, it gets better. I loved this one. God of Fury. Oh, bitch. It's so good. This is kind of like Kiss the Villain, but it's not a student ex-professor. The professor in Kiss the Villain, he's not ashamed of his sexuality, and neither is Nikolai. But the student is still trying to figure out what he likes. Whereas Brandon is, like, he's still trying to figure out what he likes and who he is. And I feel like this is a true enemies to lovers. This one was so good. The banter between the two of them, the chemistry, just the tension between the two. Brandon loving what Nikolai does to him, but then fighting those demons. And it's just, it was so good. Then we get to God of War. And I was blown away at how different this was. Books 1 through 5 all start out kind of the same. They're in college. They kind of know each other through the rivalries of their colleges. Colleges? I need to stop. That sounds weird. In every book, they talk about the Heathen's Mansion. I can't remember what the night is called, but they talk about the night where they like get hunted in almost every book except this one. This one was completely different, and it was probably one of my favorites. Eli King is married to Ava. I didn't realize that Ava is a little crazy. She has anxiety and she has so many things, so many demons. Eli comes to realize that he's part of one of those reasons that she has these demons. And there was a major twist in this one. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it and rethinking about the whole story, this is probably my number 2. I don't think this book gets enough credit. What do you mean? Like, it was so good. And then we get to The Mistake. This is Logan and Grace's book. I loved this one. I know there wasn't as much spice in this one as there was in The Deal. This one is less spice than The Deal. And then obviously, like, I'm still in the middle of reading the score, and the score is hella spicy, okay? Like, this one is probably the spiciest, right? I don't know. I haven't read The Goal yet, and then I also need to read The Legacy. So, and that one's after college, so we'll see how spicy that one is. This is probably my favorite so far because of the character development. Grace has so much development to go through, and so does Logan. Logan and his dad. Oh my gosh. And in the movie series, it's his mom. And in this, he has a brother. In the series, he has a sister. But Logan's book just had so much development, so much character growth. There's so much emotion in it. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed his character. The way he tries so hard for her, the way he wants to be a better man. I loved this one. And I love Logan in the series, and I love how much he loves his friends and Grace and his family. So good. The only thing I have to say about this one is the ending. The ending was very abrupt to me. It was very quick. I think it almost felt like she just like ran out of things to think of, and it was probably purposeful, but that's how it felt at the end of the book going into the epilogue. I don't know. That is the only complaint I have about this one. Other than that, so far, it might be my favorite. I don't know. I need a little. I don't know what it is about doing these things, but talking so much while I make these videos, I feel like my throat just gets like super dry. And then I'll like take a deep breath. Like I just cough because it's so dry. So I have to always have water on hand. And I also started this in July. I am still reading it. I'm about halfway through. I have not finished it yet because I was in the middle of also reading one arc. Yes, I gave myself the grace and did one arc. And the arc that I did was When the Mountains Held Us. And this is by my book bestie, Tori. I loved it. I flew through that one. I had to put this down because I loved her book, and not just because she's my bestie, okay? I loved it. Both characters have a lot of baggage, okay? A lot of baggage, and the baggage actually follows the FMC in this one. So you have the FMC Oakley and the MMC Levi. This is like a small town romance. It's not like a cowboy romance by any means. It is very heavy with finding yourself again and loving who you are and learning to work through your trauma. I thought that this one was so thought out. I can't wait for book 2. Levi is like a construction worker in a small town. Oakley is running. She's a big city girl that runs to this small town where Levi happens to be. And she gets caught up in some construction on the road, which happens to be where she meets Levi. They're trying to reroute her, but he ends up helping her out and telling her where to go and like giving her like a back way. And she ends up not going that way. Like she gets lost. He ends up finding her on the road with no gas and a dead phone. He ends up taking her to a motel and paying for her entire motel, leaving her car there and telling her that he will be back in the morning. He will come and pick her up and take her back to her car. And he does exactly that. Like he comes and picks her up at the motel in the morning, brings her a coffee, and then brings a gas can full of gas to fill up her car with. They fill up her car and she goes to the apartments where she was supposed to be trying to get a tour from and finds out that she is kind of SOL because they let it go. Like someone was offering more. So she doesn't have anywhere to live. So she thinks. The tension between the two of them is so good. The slow burn it literally makes you yearn as the reader. I was like, oh my God, the tension, like you could just, it was so good. I loved it and I'm so proud of her. And if you want to read it, I have dropped it in the links below. You can either get it on Kindle or you can get the physical copy. To kind of just wrap things up, I wanted to talk about the books that I'm in the middle of reading. So like I said, I am in the middle of physically reading The Score. I am loving this. I love the spiciness. I think Dean is so sexy. I am almost through with this. Like I said, I am halfway. So I plan on finishing this in August. I'm also reading King of Sloth. I'm not physically reading this, which I probably should. I have the audiobook. So I've been audiobooking this one. It's okay so far. The female narrator to me is, I don't know if that's kind of giving me the ick, but it feels very forced. I know that that's kind of how her character is in this book, where she's just very strong-willed and like straightforward. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So far it's okay. It's not everything. It's just all right. And then because I've been reading a lot of romance lately, the next book that I want to read is this book right here. I want to read The Teacher. Summerween, right? Summerween. I've heard a lot of great things about The Teacher. I know that so many people love it. So I am so excited for this one. And this one is actually really thick. This one is probably one of her thicker books, I feel. One thing I love about Frida McFadden is that her chapters are pretty short and it makes it easier to read. And I love that. That is it for my 3-month reading wrap up, you guys, as well as the books that I am currently reading and kind of gonna read next. I'm planning to just do an August reading wrap up at the end of this month, but I've been so busy that I just haven't had time to sit down and do a reading wrap up for every month. And so I was like, you know what? We'll just do a 3-month reading wrap up. Really proud of myself for getting through a lot of my TBR. I am finally through the Legacy of God series, and I'm getting more of my Kings of Sin series out of the way too. Super proud of that. And if you've made it this far and you love the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I have a couple of other things in store for you. I have a couple of other ideas. I'm working on some other videos right now, but I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next video.